Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Nikki. I have so many girlfriends that are wanting to try the dating apps and they're intimidated by it, or I have some girlfriends that are on the dating apps and they're just not finding any luck. So I figured I'd get on here and share my top 5 dating tips on how to find your husband through a dating app. Step 1. Pick an app that aligns with your goal and spend time on your profile. Obviously, Tinder's known as a hookup app, so I would avoid that. I personally met my husband on Hinge, so I'm a little biased on that. But there are so many other dating apps: Bumble, Facebook, Coffee Meets Bagel, the list goes on. I've heard that some apps are more popular depending on which city you're in. For example, I live in Chicago and everybody's really on Hinge, but I've heard like Bumble's more popular in DC. Start with one, and if it's not working for you, maybe it's the app that's the issue. And once you find your app, think of the man that you want to attract and present yourself in a way that would appeal to him. So find photos that you feel attractive in. If you don't have any photos that you can think of that you love, go do a photo shoot, have some fun with friends, even get a tripod, you can do it yourself. But you want to have profile pictures up there that you can be proud of, and make sure that you're not catfishing anyone. If you've gained like 40 pounds. Don't do photos of you when you were 20 and skinny. You're eventually going to meet them in person, and you want to make sure that your photos match who you are now, because you don't want to be fooled by somebody, so try not to fool them. Spend time on the prompts. Each app is a little bit different, but try to use your profile to show a little bit of your personality and see if you can find someone with your similar sense of humor. I personally found that I enjoy dating men in business. I have an accounting finance background, and I felt like the conversation just flowed easier with men that also had a business background. So on one of my Hinge prompts, I made an Excel joke, and it was a little bit more advanced and only people that really know Excel could understand it. So I found that it was really effective in pulling in businessmen. It was just a really great conversation starter and kind of set me apart from other people on the app. So try to think of the man that you want to attract and try to reflect your personality a little bit in the prompt. Step 2, let the man take initiative and try not to stay on the app. It's so easy to just message somebody on an app for days or months, but really the in-person chemistry is so important. You may be attracted to how confident somebody is or how much of a gentleman they are over message, and then you may meet them in person and they're a total jerk. They're really shy and it gives you the ick. You may not like their voice. So I'm really a strong believer of not starting out your relationship in messages. You're probably getting a different version of this man. It's so important to just see if you guys have chemistry in person. Let the man take the initiative. I always say this, but like the sperm chases the egg. Men are inherent hunters and they need to go after what they want. It is not attractive to plan every single day and always seem thirsty to see a guy. What is attractive is when a man knows what he wants and he goes for it. If you make yourself so easy and convenient, they aren't going to place you at high value. When you think of a fast food restaurant that is so easily accessible versus a high-end restaurant that there's a waiting line out the door, what is more attractive or high value to you? Obviously, a fine dining restaurant. Be a fine dining restaurant. If you're really interested in meeting a guy and they keep pushing you off, just move on. This is going to really show the type of person they are, and it's going to carry on in the relationship and in marriage. They are trying to find husbands, and you should be weeding out this undesirable behavior now. Or else, even if it works out, you're going to be married and your husband's not going to be the type of man to plan dates and take initiative. You want a man that makes plans and follows through with them. Step 3, try to meet somewhere easy and always have an exit plan. When I say somewhere easy, I would say drinks, coffee, smoothies, ice cream. All these dates can be quick or they can be prolonged. It's less of a commitment. So my personal choice was drinks. And on those drinks, I would usually start it out just by saying, "Hey, nice to meet you. So sorry, I actually have a friend in town, but I wanted to make sure I didn't cancel our date. I was really excited to meet you." This kind of sets the precedent that like, I may not be here a long time. The worst thing ever is knowing off the bat that you're not into this person and then feeling like you're trapped on a date. I do think we can kind of understand if we're like, "Ugh, I really just am not attracted to this guy," or "He was rude to a waitress and I'm just not feeling this." So I love to have an excuse to leave early if you're not feeling it. Like, you can finish your drink and say, thank you so much for the drink. It was nice to meet you, and then just get on your way. And if you are enjoying yourself, you can go for drink number 2 or say, let's check out this spot next door. Tip 4. Be kind and respectful even if you aren't interested. Obviously, this doesn't apply if somebody's blatantly rude to you. You can always stick up for yourself. If you're simply not interested in a guy and he's done nothing wrong and has been nice to you, try to stay kind and respectful. After the date, you can say, thank you for this date. I enjoyed myself, but I really don't think that we're a good fit. Or simply say that you're not interested. I think anything is better than ghosting. It's not nice to be ghosted. You really never know if you're gonna run into this person in the future. And it's always good to end it on a classy note. They could literally end up being your future coworker. And down the line, people are really going to appreciate that you were honest with them. Okay, last tip, number 5. Zero tolerance for bad behavior or red flags. You really have to love yourself and always be okay with leaving. It's so important to have high standards. If the person you're talking to isn't responsive or has been canceling dates or being rude, you kind of just have to say, this isn't working for me. High value men really respect women with boundaries and standards. And the right man is going to be motivated by your standards. I remember when I first started dating my husband, and he sort of made a comment about us being casual. It was definitely not rude, but it wasn't exactly what I was wanting. I was looking for something more serious, and I think he was kind of implying something more casual and not actually leading up to a relationship. And after he said that, I simply ordered an Uber and said, okay, I completely understand where you're coming from, but that's not gonna work for me. I remember we had a really good night and he was so confused. So he hugged me and he kind of made a comment like, oh, I'll see you out sometime, or we'll have to like catch up again. And I just said, no, you're not gonna see me again. I remember he was so confused, but he knew that I was serious because I was. I was not mean, but I was firm. And I really set that boundary there that like, I'm looking for something serious and I'm not into this whole casual dating thing. So I left and some time passed, and sure enough, he came running back at full force. He said that me leaving that day really made him realize that he never wanted to lose me. He worked overtime, won me back. So I'm not saying that people can't make mistakes, but you really have to communicate what you find to be accessible and act that way. See if they can meet your expectations, and if they don't, you have to be okay with leaving. I will say there were other stories of people that I've dated that also wanted to be casual, and I made similar statements and I never talked to them again. But I really was at peace knowing what I wanted and making sure that my actions aligned with that desire. I have so many other dating tips that I could give, but I figured I would just stop at 5. If you like this kind of content, please give this a thumbs up and subscribe. I'm just now getting into content, trying to figure out what you guys like and what more of. So please leave comments and help a sister out. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.